So Professor Josh Snyder, Associate Professor of the Practice at Boston College. He also is the director of the Faith, Peace, and Justice minor. Josh earned his PhD in theological ethics from Boston College. Josh's research focuses on transitional justice and Catholic peace building with a focus on the Guatemalan Catholic Church and human rights. Additionally, he is interested in Catholic social teaching and its contribution to global public health with a specific focus on ethical accompaniment and end-of-life care. Let's hear it for Josh Snyder.
Molly, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. Molly will get extra credit. She's in my Challenge of Justice class, so kudos, Molly. Great introduction. I really appreciate it. So good evening, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Tonight's talk is entitled Giving Thanks for Friends and Forgiveness. So why am I linking together friendship and forgiveness? I see three main reasons why these ideas overlap with each other. First, we talk a lot about friendship and forgiveness without really thinking about what they mean. Do we ever stop to consider, what does it mean to be a friend? Or what does it mean to forgive your friend when something's gone wrong? I think the default assumption is that we magically know how to forgive and we know what it means to be a friend to another person. We assume that these activities are in fact self-evident. But we need to give words to friendship and forgiveness. We need to recover their robust meaning and reflect on how to develop the habits of friendship and forgiveness. Second, both friendship and forgiveness are acts of love. This means that they are in fact acts of the will. We choose to be friends with another person. And if we put trust into that relationship, we can offer the gift of forgiveness. Third, within every friendship, there will inevitably be conflict. But how do we navigate this conflict and the hurts that we might cause to others or that others might cause to ourselves? This is when forgiveness is necessary to sustain that friendship. So let's begin by considering the idea of friendship. For those of you who might have had me in class, you know my favorite theologian is St. Augustine of Hippo. For Augustine, friendship is, quote, agreement on things human and divine combined with goodwill and love, end quote. Forgiveness is the bond of love where friends love and support one another in God. Or to put it in contemporary terms, we could describe friendship as willing the spiritual growth and nourishment of both ourselves and another person. There are many ingredients that make up friendship. I would say recognizing the dignity of the other is the first key element within a good friendship. This leads us to respect, trust, commit, care, and mutually have affection for one another. Friendship is essential for happiness. We need the company of others. In the Old Testament, the author of the book of Sirach affirms, quote, a faithful friend is a sure shelter. Whoever finds one has found a rare treasure. A faithful friend is something beyond price. There is no measuring that person's worth. A faithful friend is the elixir of life, end quote. Returning to our friend Augustine, his confessions were a testimony to the great importance of friendship. In his early years, he was prepared to do almost anything to be accepted, popular, and admired by his peers. During our youth, our friendships are often based on proximity. Growing up, I was blessed to have an older brother, an older sister, and over 30 first cousins. These intimate familial friendships served as a school of virtue for learning how to navigate competing interests and desires, mitigate conflict, and foster care and affection for each other. As a child, I met my oldest and dearest friend, Jeff. Again, this relationship was born out of proximity. We were neighbors, but through the years, we grew in our friendship by being together in scouts, playing baseball and football together, and ultimately continuing this relationship until we both moved away when we entered into high school. Yet our friendship remained. Over the time, I've become the godfather to Jeff's son, Anderson, and even though we don't see each other very often, when we do, that friendship becomes reinvigorated. Like Augustine, sometimes my desire to be, quote, one of the boys led me into situations that I would later regret. In college, my rowdy crowdy consisted of John and Pedro. We played football together at St. Peter's College. We probably had too much of a good time during those first early years of college. Fueled by probably too much drinking, we got kicked out of bars, we had run-ins with campus public safety, we got into trouble for hosting prospective recruits, and John and I ultimately got into a fight with each other one night. But it's these same rowdy friends that spent the night with me when I was hospitalized after my last concussion that I had received when we played Canisius in Buffalo. Even though these early years of college friendship led us down paths what you might consider toxic today, our friendships matured. I was lucky enough to be the officiant at John's wedding. John was the best man at mine, and Pedro once again honored me by being the godfather of his daughter, Madeline. Throughout the confessions, we see Augustine's concept of true friendship become more and more refined. In the search for truth and happiness, Augustine gathered around himself friends with whom he could share in this quest for truth. He described this time of learning and friendship as such, quote, to talk and laugh and do kindness to one another, to read well-written books together, to make jokes and to sometimes laugh and to sometimes talk seriously, sometimes to disagree, but without any ill feelings, just as one may disagree with themselves. And to find this disagreement makes our overall general agreement all the more pleasant. To sometimes be teaching, to sometimes be learning, to long impatiently for the absent, and to welcome them when they return. End quote. It was during my time of doctoral studies here at Boston College that I found this type of friendship. If Nebridius was Augustine's companion of the mind, and Alypius was his companion of the heart, then my dear friend Mike was both for me. We spent hours together studying, exchanging ideas, preparing for comprehensive exams, and giving feedback to one another on our dissertation projects. Ultimately, friendship should lead us back to union with God. That is to say, friendship with love itself. For Augustine, friendship led him to a vocational commitment to the priesthood. My life took a very different direction. For me, the most profound friendship I have had has been with my best friend, my life partner, and my spouse, Ashley. Her love, support, and encouragement has sustained me emotionally and spiritually during our 20-year journey. Through moments of joy, exhilaration, stress, and doubts, our friendship has kept us moving forward. In the words of our wedding song by Mark Anthony, Tu amor me hace bien, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, quite literally, her love does me well. Ashley's love is the balm for my soul. It's what maintains our friendship. A common thread through all of these relationships has been the willingness to forgive one another. Clear, honest, and open communication is essential to friendship. At times, we might disappoint our friends or be disappointed by them. Is our friendship strong enough to voice this disappointment in an honest and constructive way? Are we willing to correct our friends? Are we willing to be corrected by them? Forgiveness is a process rather than a one-time action. As an act of love, forgiveness entails letting go of anger and animosity, foregoing revenge, and replacing ill will with goodwill towards the one who has harmed us. I would say there are two key moments in the process of forgiveness: decisional forgiveness and emotional forgiveness. As an act of will, we make the choice to forgive or not to forgive. In deciding to forgive, we're making a commitment to forgive the one who has harmed us. It is important to verbalize this commitment. This can be done by telling a trusted friend, perhaps writing it down in your own journal, or letting God know of your intention to forgive the one who might have harmed you. The decision to forgive, though, does not mean that the emotional pain of being wrong magically goes away. You may still have reminders of the hurt or experience emotional pain, which is a natural protective response to being wronged. Through emotional forgiveness, we try to work through this pain by recalling the harm, trying to heal the memory associated with it, remembering times when we ourselves might have wronged another person and the benefit of their forgiveness and what that felt like for us, and ultimately trying to empathize with the one who has harmed us. When negative feelings arise, we can remind ourselves that we have made this choice to forgive, rather than letting the negative emotions control us. Our ability to forgive is not contingent on contrition on behalf of the person who has wronged us. While it is certainly ideal for the wrongdoer to initiate the process by admitting they were wrong and ultimately apologizing, I would argue this is not necessary. By focusing on us as the forgiver, the gift of forgiveness frees us from past animosity and hurt. It allows us to move forward in a way that we can sustain our life in a fulfilling manner. Remember, forgiving is not the same as forgetting or condoning the behavior. But by empathizing, we try to realize that each one of us is greater than any of the wrongs that we might have committed. Lastly, forgiveness does not, and in some circumstances should not, result in reconciliation. Unfortunately, some friendships must come to an end. Some harms are irreparable. There are many friends that I've had in my own life that we've had to part ways. But we still can choose to forgive and to move on. I hope as you think about your own friendships and what it means to have friends in your life, you can see the value of forgiveness, the importance of opening up your heart to the other when you might have been wrong, as well as if you've wronged another, being willing to offer your own sense of apology to that person. Look forward to our conversation tonight, and thanks everyone for being here.